Yeah, I had to quiet the spirits down, man. Rocking out here. How are you, man? The strong end of the week is here. It's Friday. Hope you are doing good and life is treating you well. How you enjoying the journey so far? You're making it as you go, believe it or not. It really is that. And I don't know about you, but man, life is alive. I don't know. You know, Guess that's how you look at it. So, welcome everybody. Hello, moderators. Hey there, Lois. Good to see you. Cajun Queen Tarot, Pure Love Ascension. Hello, Danielle. Nina the Mystic. Hello, Autumn Cordona. That's pretty good. Hey, Mass Material Classified. Truth in Me. Hello, Cupcake Butterflies. I love that. I answered your email. Nina the Mystic. Tim Barnes. Good to see you. Source Frequency. I like that. Alfred Kyle, hello. Hey, Sandy Scott, howdy. Girl with no name, Spooner. That's a shame. How are you doing? Miss Heidi, hello. Good to see you. And Anne, hello. Richard E.O., good to see you. Truth Seeker, good to see you. Infinite Frequency 611, hello. Turtle Track, I haven't seen you. Hey, Karen, good to see you. And Joe Sapien, how are you, my friend? Life's a roller coaster. Yeah, don't you like that? The valleys suck, but boy, you really like the going ups. The true point of all this is that hopefully by the time you exit out, you figured out how to get it balanced. But hey, who's taking notes? Dance and Waves, good to see you. Desert Rose, hello, good to see you. Let's see, Squirrel, oh, hello, good to see you as well. Man, Al, good to see you. Maria, hello. David, how are you doing? How's your mom, David? Keep her in my thoughts constantly. Truth in Me, hello, good to see you. Well, please allow me to invoke favor from on high upon us all. I tell you, I don't know about you. I love favor. I dream about it. I talk about it. I eat it. I sleep it. And I'm sure in the astral plane, I'm sowing it. So I just called that favor down upon us all. May there be nothing missing, nothing broken in your life, complete restoration. That's what we look for. And what we do here, we're all about the declarations and affirmations. Boy, if you're going to speak it, I was outside and I'll tell you, you ever had one of those profound moments when your spirit guides say, hey, pay attention. And I did. I'll share that here in a minute. But here's the thing, folks. You speak over your life all the time, every day. The question is, are you hearing yourself? Here, we want to begin to speak favor into our lives. Listen, if you go by the idiom, you reap what you sow. Okay, well, let's just start sowing some good stuff. So all these favors will come upon me and overtake me. Shall I give voice to them each day? Favor will be with me in the city. Favor will be with me in the country. I love that. Favor will heal my body when I speak favor into my body. I hope you're doing it every day. When you clean that body of yours, keeping it maintenance, you ought to be making love to it, speaking favor into it. It'll respond. Favor will set my children apart, my animals, my ground, as favored with abundance of joy. Nothing like that. Favor will be on my food, my water, my pantry. Favor will walk with me when I come in, and favor will walk with me when I go out. Favor will cause my enemies to be at peace with me. Favor will come upon my barns and storehouses. This is where I keep my valuables, to prosper and to be in safety. Favor will be upon me in everything I undertake. Everything I set my hand to, favor will cause it to prosper. Think about that, folks. You set your hand to something virtually the whole time you're awake, many times when you're asleep. Think about it. Man, it's resting on prosperity. Favor shall come upon all my material property and shall cause it to last longer and not break. Favor shall protect me, my offspring, my possessions from calamity. Favor will lead me to good fortune in all things. Favor will cause me to be the head, not the tail. Favor will cause me to come out on top and not beneath. Favor will always cause me to be above. Favor will cause me to have favor with the elements. Favor will cause me to be favored with the spirit realm. That's mighty important, folks. We're in this community now. We like the hello, Trina. The flavor is favor. Favor is the new flavor, however you want to do it. Favor will cause me to be favorable to everyone I meet. They will see me with favor. Favor will seek me out. I mean, listen, again, you can do what you want, but hey, I kind of figured like this. Speak it, baby. Speak it. Happy birthday to all of those who are having a birthday today. I don't know. I figure someone's having a birthday. So good to see you. Hi, Lori. Good to see you. I see a lot of other Suzanne. Hello. How you doing? Hey, Steve. Slightly slanted sleuth for the truth. Hey, Darth. Good to see you, my friend. So I had this profound moment. Actually, I made a little video of it because it was very profound. I get up about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I really enjoy being when the day meets the night. To me, it's that time that I can be awakened many times at 3, but 4 o'clock, I enjoy it. It's just no one's up. It's quiet. The spirits will talk to you. And so anyway, I was out and coming in. Have you ever seen what we call those pill bugs? Doodle bugs. I don't know where all kids play with them. Well, I was coming into my garage and looked down and saw one. And that inner voice told me to stop. It said, here is wisdom. So I'm watching this pill bug. Now, the thought hit me, that pill bug only sees its reality in what I assume what's in front of it, right? Okay, so it can't see what I can see. I'm standing, could be basically, if you took it in relationship, I could be standing in the heavens, looking down. And I can see 360 degrees, every possibility of a direction that pill bug could take. Now think about this. I basically could see its future. I didn't know its future because there were many possible futures that pill bug could take as it was crawling. And it came to a ledge. Now, my mind was saying, well, I can predict the future here. The pill bug is going to go along the least resistant way and follow where the ledge is. The pill bug, it didn't. It went under the ledge. And how it got underneath there was amazing because there wasn't a space big enough for it, but it did. And I was struck as I left that point, went and made a very short video, that in so much in our lives, ladies and gentlemen, that is how our lives are. We so often are both the observer and the observed. And I think in a way it taught me something about what we call God, the creator, source, however you want to title it. It can't know the future. Now, it can see probably an infinite future. But what it really comes down to is what you and I do individually. Think about that. It was a profound moment for me, and I'm sharing it with you. And the psychic apparently didn't like it, but that's okay. We speak favor into our psychic. So think about that. Moments of clarity, ladies and gentlemen, are all around us. I think so often we're so preoccupied with ourselves that we miss so many lessons, profound lessons. Um, so take it forever how you like it. All right. Let's get right into this. Hello, Charlotte. Good to see you. Kathleen Sharp, Lady Gray Raven. Hello. Good to see you. So, um, we've been studying on how to build our own magic circle and how to create our own sigils. And I read an article last night when I was studying of there's a renaissance taking place. I don't know where we are in that as a group. I don't know if we are on the part of it or if we're in the continuing momentum, but sigils is starting to become popular. Isn't it odd? I mean, I've been here a while, done 1,100 plus videos, and sigils, didn't hear that much. Now it seems to be everywhere. And it could be is this that we're tuned into it and we're seeing it. And today we're going to discuss the many different ways that you can literally charge or activate your sigil. And I will tell you right now, we will be getting into some sexual matters on this. So if those type of subjects make you uncomfortable, then I want to not listen, just mute it out. Much of what is being taught today, by the way, I hope you realize this, is really, it's called chaos magic, out of the thought that order always protends out of chaos. Take it as you want. I think there's many different kinds of magic. For instance, most of the magic that, you know, that I see, you know, the Golden Dawn, Gargadi and his works, Franz, and even Cornelius, Agrippa. Much of the magic is predicated upon a Hebraic construct. And if you're like me, I reject that God. Don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't consider it to be God. And so when I see so much of the magic that is written about, particularly the old magic within the last, 2,300 years, much of it comes from Kabbalism, and it has integrated itself into many different forms. What amazes me is people so focus in on the Abrahamic concept, and we know the Egyptians far predated the Hebrews. In fact, the Hebrews got their magic from the Egyptians. And so, you can see how they just merely probably replaced one set of gods with their own set of God, gave it a name, gave it, 72 names, and there's sigils, by the way, for each one of those names. Now, if that doesn't tell you something, well, you need to do some more homework. So, but I just want to say this: remember, it's your magic. Build your own magic. You see how I practice it, and I do practice it. I'm not some talking head just simply up here saying, well, this is how this book. No, I get on my hands and knees and I charge that sigil. And I knew instinctively when building the circle, it was to be a double circle. So, it works. And whether you believe it or not, now, if you add your faith to it, then it becomes extremely powerful. Yesterday, I told you that your body is a temple. And a temple is built to house a God. And you are God. You are in this temple. And I want to make a clarification. Someone sent me an email and said, well, this is just flat out heresy. How can you be saying that a person is equal to God? Did I say that? I never said that. I said, you are God. And I wrote back to this person, and boy, did it piss them off. Wow. As I tried to explain to him, I said, you have to see what they're in here practicing magic about. I don't know. But in any case, it was one of those things like, well, why are you here? But they couldn't believe that someone would go out on the air and say that each of us were the Holy Trinity. You are the Holy Trinity. Listen, if you take this concept of a Holy Spirit, of the Trinity itself, when I was a practicing Christian, I didn't realize it, but I was practicing demonic possession. Listen, anytime you ask another spirit to come in and take possession of your spirit, brother, you can paint it white or black. I don't care what it is. It's still spiritual possession. And, it's just a matter of degrees, what is good and what is bad, what is an angel and what's a demon. This depends on what's your perspective. And so when you think about this, they say to be filled with this Holy Spirit. Folks, don't give up your sovereignty like that. And much of the magic that we are studying, you have to get that. Frater is one who really emphasizes that. You've got to get the Godhead identity, because you are a Trinity. You are a Godhead. Think about it. That's the most marvelous thing. If I could talk to every person who was ever thinking about end of their life and just tell them, you don't realize this is a spirit can't be a Trinity. An intelligence can't be a Trinity. It's apparently only when you're in these physical bodies that attribute, that part becomes active. And be it as it is, you've got to take that attitude. I don't know. I often wonder, well, I know because I was there, how many people just will not think about the afterlife. Most people, as we know, are very much asleep. And you start talking about the afterlife, spiritual ascension, it just freaks their ass right out. Yeah. They'll do anything but talk about that. It makes them very uncomfortable. And we know why. It's the fear factor. And so here we are studying. We are all apprentices. Some of us are teachers, but we're all apprentices on some level. And we're learning. What a great opportunity for a Trinity, a triad, to become orientated in one plane of existence and then begin to expand into the plane of what we would call the ether, the spirit realm. I don't know. So let's get right on it. Got to look at yourself. Quit condemning yourself. Quit putting yourself down. Quit putting other people down. Quit trying to filter what you see other people by your eyes. Stop it. You've got no right to do that. No one has a right to do that. If we would all see and respect that and speak favor, I'm telling you what, you get happy feet. Like I was doing. I was dancing to some Led Zeppelin before. Yeah, I dance. And let me tell you what, if you don't dance, I feel sorry for you. Because you know what? Dancing feels good. All right. So we're going to get back and finish up with a book that we were in. I wanted to get in immediately into this. So Personal Power Sigils. This is from the book Sigil Magic and Spellcasting. And by the way, we are going to get into here in the next couple of weeks spellcasting. We're going to look at the full Monty, the full gamut. And there's a difference between one spell that's invoked and one that is cast. And we'll learn this. But I want to get right into here and finish this up because this helps kind of begin to pull it all together. A sigil's mode of action, and this is charging your sigil. I do it all the time now. I actually now have a number of these. These are little pads. And when I start seeing something, someone wrote, I think it was Al, I know who it was. When you doodle, that's sigil magic. It's very natural to our species. And we see it on the petroglyphs, the hieroglyphs, everything. So a sigil's mode of action is not restricted to being sunk and forgotten. Sigils can also be imbued with power through consciousness and remain in the manifested plane, harnessing and dispensing the energy sent into them. That sigil, all of you saw on that, I didn't make that, another gentleman did. And as he said, when he made the sigil, it was designed for others to take it. It will literally, it is a radio beacon, a collector, a receptor. It literally draws your energy. Thank you for energizing uh, my YouTube channel. I energize you back. All right. This form of magic has less power to influence events, but can influence the self. Now, if you're going to go for something that you want to change your fortune, you can do that. There are spells, there are incantations that you can do it. When I put together the favor invocation, there was nothing out there. I searched most of the books that I get my hand on. I could not find a spell that would for favor. And I said, well, we're going to change that. All right. The act of creating a sigil, in this case, takes the form of personal power sigils, sigils which are crafted as emblems of personal power. I'm working with a jewelry designer in New York on the one that I told you that I was given, and getting it made and charging that baby up, baby, and it's going to be worn as a talisman around my neck. Sigils, which are crafted as emblems of personal power. Once crafted and charged, they are to be neither hidden nor destroyed, but remain in the open, manifested to the manifested plane, clearly set in consciousness awareness. The idea is this, folks. You want every person that goes by you to put, even if it's for a millisecond, their attention on your sigil. It's like walking around in a solar battery with the sun 24/7. But you didn't know that, did you? Well, now you do. Compose them in the same manner as described above, choosing a power you want to increase within yourself. Now, I'm trying to get this book and find it in PDF, but we're going to go through this. This is a powerful book. I mean, I was up last night meditating, and I have found a couple of these sigils just, whoa. I mean, and I have activated and charged a few. Once finished, etch them, and this person recommends on paper, wax, or metal, wood, or another surface. Charge them either by pain or pleasure. Now, there is another way of doing this, but it's going to be either one. As with other sigils, do not destroy them. Leave them be. Return later and repeat the charging. Charge them frequently. When charged, they will become personal symbols of your inner work. They will occupy a sacred space in your consciousness. You have a temple, sweetheart. Do with it as you will. Every temple has a sacred area that no one's allowed. In this case, the high priestess or the high priest, which would be you. It is best not to have too many. And I suggest you have one, but not many are needed, as the main aspects of consciousness are few, despite consciousness being complex. Have the essentials and the rest will follow. Here are a list of 7 examples of topics to craft personal power sigils on. Number 1, self. Why not? All of us should have our own personal sigils. And if you're a jewelry maker, come forward. I mean, if you want business, I think we can bring a lot of business. 2, others. 3, rage. I know that sounds odd, but there's reason for this. 4, sexuality. 5, memory. 6, intellect. 7, magic. Each can also be given a special barbaros, the snake, or unintelligible word made of scrambling the letters or some other method. And we know how to do that. If you're not, we'll go do a review lesson on that so you can understand why you need to scramble the letters and when you're making them. These words can constitute the name of the sigil, treating it like an external spiritual force. The unintelligibility of the word increases its power. The word can be called to mind or spoken in the sigil's absence, bringing forth its power. Folks, this is kind of like, I'm trying to think in physics. When you can begin to understand, if you focus your faith on it, every religion requires the individual's own faith. If that individual doesn't have faith in that religion is meaningless. Think about it. That's how powerful your faith is. It's dynamo. In fact, that's one of the words I think in the Greek it actually describes faith as dunamis, which we get our word dynamite from. So within us, we have this dynamis power. As I told you yesterday, that's why crucifix, have such power for those who believe in them. They do repel evil forces because why? The individual's faith is in that. That tells you how powerful it is. Once these sigils have been established, they serve to augment that particular sphere of oneself when engaged in a ritual manner or called to mind or spoken. If, for instance, you wish to improve memory, you can create a sigil and a barbaros name for the sphere of yourself. Then perform a summoning or worship ritual in honor of that sphere. Doing this repeatedly feeds that sphere of yourself in a way similar to the feeding, energizing of Servetus, making it more magically potent and giving you a greater degree of control over it in your life. We do this all the time. The reason why prescription drugs works because you believe your doctor. It's when you stop believing your doctor that it can begin to get interesting. All right, the arising of results. The results of sigil magic are rarely instantaneous. Results can be expected to manifest within a month when the spell is successful. But what determines the success? I wish I could tell you that there really is no shake and bake here, plug and play. Many people are lazy, and that's why magic will never work for them. They're not going to give it the time. They're not going to give it the effort, the devotion. Remember, you are focusing your devotion on something. I say it should be upon self. So there are 3 factors. 1, the probability of the desired result. You need to find out where you are in this. The intensity of the sigils charging and sinking, the degree of forgetting. As explained earlier, sigil spells are restricted to the possible. They should not be used for the impossible. And they are more effective when seeking something probable. Sigil spells are often ineffective due to the impossibility or the improbability of the desired result. This improbability is also not always apparent. Some things may seem possible, probable in theory, but they are not so in actuality. And let me explain how this works. Very difficult for you to begin to cast spells, incantations, sigils, in, let's say, making you a millionaire when you're flat broke right now. Your consciousness is never going to accept it. Your subconscious sure isn't going to accept it. And so many people, when they start practicing magic, they become utter failures at it. There's no results, and they become frustrated and say, well, that's just a bunch of hockey cock, there's nothing to it. Those who practice such things are, they're weird. No. We just incorporate the very same things that we use in everyday life, except we understand that you're not about to climb a mountain if you've never climbed a hill. I remember my days of running. You're not going to run a full marathon. Get up one morning and say, I think I'm going to go do the Boston Marathon. Well, have you ever run a marathon? Nope. Do you want to practice? Nope. I guarantee you, you're going to get about 100 yards down and you're out. Not the way to do it. Start small, take the small successes and add to them. Once you can see, and I tell people to do this all the time, cast a spell or, start invoking a sigil of prosperity or increase, whatever it is. Do the first thing. Look to see if it can produce $1 for you. You find that it can produce $1, well, then move on. I hope that you don't focus in strictly on money because, folks, that's the very debase. There's a higher path to take that will naturally draw this in and do it in a manner, in a way that won't destroy you. That's the other thing. Magic many times has a boomerang effect. It's just the way. Nothing, no one gets out alive, as they say. All right. Intensity is also a factor, but as practice continues, intensity will grow. Beginners often have a trouble with it, but the trouble soon fades. Many of us, we can charge sigils in our minds. We don't need to go through a lot of the process. I still do because it's important. Banishing, burning, forgetting. Forgetting is a more difficult matter for beginners than intensity. It often prevents results. If the desire is not forgotten for a time, then conscious energy will keep it from properly sinking. Results will then fail to manifest. You see, folks, the word sinking is to get down into your essence. And if you're constantly thinking about it, you've nullified it. That's why, you banish it. We continue. Even intermediate magicians have trouble with forgetting. Desire is a powerful force. How many of you remember that first girlfriend, that first boyfriend, that one that you just immediately had a crush on him? And no matter what you did, you could not get that person out of your head. And they may not even know or realize it. That's what we're talking about here. Desire is a powerful force. It holds consciousness together. It connects life to life and persists past death. Boy, those of you who've got your radar on, yeah. And yet those who abandon it are in the best position to find it satisfied in magic. An accomplished magi can lift a desire from the depths, then toss it away as if it were nothing. Because of this, results come easily. This is the paradox of magic. To get what you want, you must go beyond wanting. If you cannot, you still may achieve great things, but not the best of things. It is difficult to convey what must be done about this. If you continue, however, you will find it in time. A moment will come when you understand what it is to both desire and not desire, to be both in and outside of yourself. And when that moment comes, a new level of power will be brought forth. It will blossom. Do not trouble yourself with this, though. It will not come by wanting it, and it will not come by watching. Simply practice, continue. The universe of which you are a part will take care of it. And that's the thing many people just can't handle. They can't handle the fact that there is a certain amount that you just have to. I kind of look like this. You just got to ride with it. It's just that way. And it works. It really does. So let's continue talking about charging. It's we may not get to all of this today, and if we don't, well, that's cool. We'll pick it up on Monday. All right, this is from the Practical Sigil Magic book by our good friend Frater. The following can be applied equally to the word and to the pictorial method. So remember, you can either do a word sigil or you can do a picture sigil. And if you don't know what a picture sigil is, well, maybe I haven't covered that. I think I did, but if not, we will. Within limits, the various techniques are pertinent to the magical spell method as well. They're magical. But this mode shall be explained separately in a more detailed later in the chapter. All right, so let's go for this. Recommendation for a lightning charge. All right, here we go. For people who are always in a hurry. I don't know anyone like that, do you? All right. Having finished the sigil with much effort, and that's where most of the charging comes into, folks, really. While you're making it, you're extremely focused, and there's a lot of energy, of your energy, going into that. Now, I did tell you that this is where some of the sexual part comes in. Having finished the sigil with much effort, you can go to bed with it. You can masturbate, and during the sexual climax, concentrate on the graphic sigil. If you have a well-trained imagination, you might as well visualize the sigil, but beginners are advised to stare at the glyph with widely open eyes. It is crucial that you place the sigil in front of your eyes during orgasm. Do not think of your sentence of desire or the contents of your sigil at this moment. Ideally, you should have forgotten the original purpose for which the sigil was created. To achieve this, you can put the sigil aside for a couple of days or weeks after construction, and then take it out in a quiet moment, in a quiet minute to activate it. But this, of course, could hardly be termed a lightning ritual. Afterwards, you will have to banish the sigil. The best method of banishing is roaring laughter. It does not matter if this may seem a bit artificial. If you can think of a good joke, now even better. Immediately after banishing by laughter, think of something completely different. The easiest way of achieving this is by switching on the TV, dialing, talking, listening to the latest, lottery results, jumping up and down, whatever you want to do. That's the idea. One may argue endlessly about the sexual ethics and or the sexual fears, but it is an undeniable fact that sigils are best eternalized in the easiest, speediest, and least problematic way during sexual climax. We will get to know various other methods too, but experience has shown that orgasm provides the most effective of magical trances. Debaucheries with glittering eyes may, however, be warned that this branch of sexual magic has little or nothing to do with sexual fun. I want to make a commentary on here. So many people come in with perverted minds that the perversion that they have been taught, that they have perceived or internalized, will nullify any of these effects. If you have a problem being prudish, if you have a problem with the natural acts that each human being does, and if you're still living in the Elizabethan construct, well, then this is not for you. And I would encourage you to leave. All it's going to do is cause you harm. And I'm not here to cause any person harm. So as we move deeper into this subject, which is so often perceived to be taboo, has to be addressed. Sexual magic is not sexual pleasure in the idea of copulating with another person, lusting after another person. That's not what it is. There's an energy that happens at the moment of orgasm. Science knows this. We all know it. So take what you can and leave the rest. In the past, when it was still trendy to work with sacrifices of all sorts, it was common to speak of sacrificing the orgasmic lust on the altar of transcendence. Obviously, this has a lot to do with the Tetranic and the Taoist ideas, which state that the male should at all cost avoid the explosive ejaculation, during sacred sexual intercourse because, according to these doctrines, loss of semen means loss of power. And by extrapolation, you can extrapolate from that longevity. This approach, which has for various reasons never become particularly popular in the West. Why? Well, in the West, we're a bunch of sex is everywhere. And this is so funny as I'm reading this, because I'm sure it's gotten some people go, oh, I can't believe this. Let even one of the major masters of sexual magic, Mr. Crowley, to concentrate on drinking his semen after sexual intercourse. That ain't going to happen. To me, that just seems a little foreign to me, but hey, to each his own. But I have seen many, many spells that do require such fluids. Apparently, they're very powerful. I can see that. When we studied the Liber Lilith, we found out that Lilith sends her daughters out and her sons to collect this fluid from both male and female. So anyway, I got other things I want to continue, but that is the one where we can say, okay, well, that was interesting, Wayne. Yes, it is. It's very interesting. And, I'm glad to see that there's still people here. It tells me that this is the group, the right group. This group in the next year are going to give birth to some very powerful, powerful magicians, sorcerers, witches, alchemists. Those who be tuning in will have to go back and look at the archives, because we will be so far ahead of them. And the purpose here, folks, is to remember, don't be afraid of practicing this. I've read some emails and people are afraid of that. And listen, I understand that. I'm telling you, the best way to start out is to draw your circle. Heck, you can do it with a stick. I mean, however you want to do it. And just sit in it. You are a spirit. Believe it or not, you really are. Well, we're hoping you are. we have some doubts on some of that, but you are a spirit. And I don't know, it's kind of like, imagine you have moved, you're in the 3rd grade, and you're going to this school's already started, you've moved, and you've now into a new school. It's kind of like going into the class the first time. We're all afraid of that. And how the class receives you is what makes you realize that this is not a threat, that this is places with like-minded. And listen, once you begin to understand your own personal power, you don't have to be afraid. I wish more and more people would understand the power they possess. And maybe if you'll start looking at it, that you are the temple, you are the Godhead. And realize no intelligence, no power, no demigod, no angels, no God can possess a human body unless that person that's in it so agrees. You see, that what's always, as you get better into this and you think more on it, it really sets us apart. I mean, if you believe in the ideal of reincarnation, you can almost see why a person would want to come back. Imagine if you had that knowledge coming in that I'm going to be able to experience the true Godhead. Wow. Wouldn't that be something? All right, we continue. All right, this is from Basic Sigil Magic. I wanted to read this. You are an individual. There is no one else like you in existence. Ladies and gentlemen, stop and think about that. That in itself is absolutely off the scale incredible. There's only one you in all of eternity, existence, which you see in your image. So it naturally follows that there is only one path for you to follow, your own. This path leads to truth, your truth, not someone else's truth, but your own truth concerning your magical real self and your relationship with the universe. No teacher can ever lead you to this truth. All that can ever be done is to show you the way. This is done by giving you a realistic pattern of perfection based on universal truths. For example, those laws that apply to everyone, whatever their individual past may be. You have already been given one such law. It applies to everyone, and yet it allows total freedom of expression, for such is the nature of cosmic law and truth. What is truth? A realistic definition is that truth is the discovery of your own real self, your inherent potential, your relationship with the universe. By discovering the truth about yourself, you gain freedom and acquire power. This is a goal worth aiming for. Now, I have some other things, and we're going to pick up on this. I wanted, because I have a little something I know many of you are going to want to have. What I hope you're getting in this is that it's amazing what we possess. You can almost see why the archons, if such exist. You can see why the controllers of religion, why they want to harness us. I mean, quite frankly, I've never seen a spirit that was ever the Godhead. No one else has either. It seems like if we are that special and that unique as a species, well, damn right every spirit would want to control us, capture us, imprison us. And the last thing any God, any religion would want is for an individual to wake up to the fact that they are God, that they are the Godhead, not some imaginary, unseen, written in some word. You're living it, baby. You're living it right now. I mean, isn't that profound? You know, when you begin to think about it and you look at the circumstances of your life, think how much you have been robbed, abused, stolen from, deceived. People born, they're birthed and they die, never understanding their full potential, never understanding because it was corrupted at a very early age, never allowed to blossom. Kind of like what the Chinese used to do with the young girls with their feet. That was weird, but it's the same thing. If they can encapsulate your potential, your Godhead, and keep it to where it never grows, never do you any good. And you wasted it. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking being able to help our communities. We're talking about, number one, helping ourselves, helping our loved ones, our family members, improving their lives through magic. Yeah, folks, that's the way it's all done. Every religion, every rich person, every person who has obtained certain high degrees of position, wealth, etc., magic has been at play. It's just the way it is. I mean, if you have a force that is merely remaining constant and is never drawn upon, that force is of no force. It's only when it is drawn upon that you begin to see and experience it. Pull those spells apart. Hey, Julianne, good to see you. All right. Now, I have one little thing I want to share with everyone before we go, because I know some of you are really going to want this. And we're going to have some time next week to go through this. We're also going to be studying Solomon, which I think is just his magic. Now, whether Solomon existed or not, I don't really care, but I do know this from some of the things I have read. Man, that dude was plugged into something powerful. All right, folks, this is the book, all 500 pages of it, well, 491, The Element Encyclopedia of Secret Signs and Symbols, the ultimate A to Z guide from alchemy to the zodiac. Adele Nozadere was the guy who put this together. Adele is a woman. Sorry about that. The Element Encyclopedia. Folks, I got a hold of this. I haven't even had a chance to really go through it. But what I have been able to peruse, you want this in your digital library. You seriously want this in your digital library. It goes through, from what I have seen, we're going to start referring to more and more. Okay, Rodin said, no, man never invented anything new, only discovered things. That gives you pause for thought. And here is the mindset behind that. Virtually, if there is the ultimate highest of intelligence, right, then it's already been done. We're just going to discover it, and then we'll proclaim it's true. And while it's true to say that some symbols have been man-made for a specific purpose, it is equally accurate to argue that everything is inspired in some way by the natural world around us, by forms of nature, plants, animals, the elements. Even a reaction against the fluid forms of nature is generally inspired by a desire to provide an alternative. Sometimes the revelation of natural symbol is immediate. Other such discoveries are the results of years of painstaking observation. Folks, I'm going to tell you, we're going to get more into it. And I just wanted to show you that we have a lot of work ahead of us. Look at the circle. I thought this was really interesting. The next, and she goes in by what we kind of looked at yesterday. The next logical magic symbol is the circle, effectively an expansion of the dot. Remember what we read? Well, now we know where a lot of this is coming from. How about this? We could write our own book. Anyway, we're going to have fun with this. We're going to get more into it. This is what I think it's really all about. learning. I have this book on Solomon's Magic, and I want to read it this weekend. I have the Kindle edition, and I'm getting the paperback. Wow. So we're going to finish the charging of the sigils. Probably just take a little bit of time on Monday to do that. And then we're going to start getting into, I think, some of the spells for self. Learning to cast a spell upon yourself. Now, you're already doing it. Unfortunately, most people put curses on themselves. And we're going to get into a cleansing ceremony where you can literally nullify all of those curses. So many people have such a residual energy where their curses are concerned that it really prevents a barrier in many cases. All right, Richard, go. That's cool. Get back there. It's cool. But we'll start working through that. I mean, we're chipping away. We all have these things. I mean, none of us are there. If I ever do get there, then I won't be here anymore. So, yeah. And by the way, I know this is going to sound strange. You are perfect. Steve Slantley Slighted Truth. You are a perfect being. And I'm going to tell you why. There is no perfection that you can achieve. You are already as perfect. The full potential is already there. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I am saying, we are perfect within ourselves. That's why it's dangerous to always try to emulate someone else, or, you know, when you're sacrificing your own self-identity for it. And you think about this. How can you be judged against something that you were never designed to be? It doesn't make sense. Judging yourself to a standard that you yourself, no. You see, that's the mind coitus going on, folks. Must have forgotten that part. Well, you don't always have to do that, Darth. It's just, and I'll clarify that. There are about 3-4 different categories. It's just, you're going to be adding it to, consider yourself a artist. You're a painter. And in your chest, you have all of your utensils. You have probably 100 different type of brushes and how many different types of colors. So don't get hung up on just one. We'll teach you and then make the one yourself. Myself, I am kind of a guy, you know, when I was in school, I took drafting. I always loved, you know, mechanical drawing. It just, architecture, it was fun for me. And so for myself, you know, I can see angles, I can see, you know, the circles, the triangles very easily in my mind. But there are some who can see pictures. And within the picture, they can draw down the essence of what their desire is. And always remember, never speak in future tense. If, for instance, you want to increase your memory, you don't say, I wish I could increase my memory. You say, my memory has increased. You start doing that, and then there's a reason for it. All right, there was an hour that went by quick. What the heck happened? All right, folks, enjoy yourself. Yes, Marguerite, absolutely right. Know thyself. But that is the hardest thing that most people don't know themselves. And because sometimes it's scary, but it's all right. You're beautiful, baby. That's what it is. Don't be afraid of yourself. All right, folks. Cheers. Thank you, Alfred. Welcome, everyone, forever around the world. Thank you. Be safe. Enjoy yourself. Grow. We'll see you again here on Monday. And we're going to pick right up. And I'm looking forward to Trina next week, and going to be inviting some others on here. There's people who are beginning to notice this. Actually, I did. I had one person write, Well, I started watching some of your videos, and there is nothing wrong. It's just positive. I felt good. Well, yeah, that's the idea. Why would you want to come and feel bad? All right. Love you all. Be good to yourselves. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.